When you make something every week, you improve greatly. Even when I look at the War of the Spark video from 3 months ago, I am shocked. But of course, I watched it again, painfully, to see what we have already seen. Which is mostly people fighting, but also some very sad losses, and even a little love. War of the Spark is about a war, so it is almost logical to have some losses. The most interesting part about this war is that there are not just two sides. There are some sides, of course, because Nicol Bolas was a bit too self-centered for this multiverse. Some planeswalkers would not care, but most hated his advances. Nicol had been planning for a long time though, so he had a large army of zombies behind him. Their goal is to harvest or reap the sparks of planeswalkers. This is necessary because Nicol wants to ascend to godhood again. The main mechanic of these zombies is that they are an army. The amass token is illustrated by Thomas Jurusek. With the amass mechanic, you can put more and more counters on your army, making it grow as one creature. A bit of a weird mechanic, as these warriors from Amonkhet are supposed to be the strongest warriors of generations of gladiators, but I guess it might be hard to control that many zombies, and we just had the 4/4 tokens on Amonkhet. It also seems like the Reapers also harvest normal people. Spark Reaper by Zoltan Boros does, and gives you the power and knowledge for it. Here Kaya does say that they're unstoppable fighters created to harvest souls. They are also rude about it. Kaya is used to the ores of gathering souls by making the people go in debt and then enslaving them forever. These zombies just suck them up. The other side is supposed to be the many planeswalkers that fight against Bolas. Each of them have their own card and a kind of signature spell. This pack contains 5 of them, showing us the critical mass. They each have to tie into the themes of these characters, and they show us the kind of army we are dealing with. Let's go over the ones in this pack. Speaking about packs, here we have Arlen's Wolf. Arlen Court is a planeswalker we are likely to see in the next Innistrad set. Arlen has brought her wolf. Before truly understanding it, you have to know that each planeswalker has undergone a struggle, which made their spark ignite. Arlen, who by the way is a werewolf, struggled with her duality between being a human and a wild wolf. We can still see her human form here, as she says, "If you don't speak wolf, allow me to translate. One step closer and I will rip out your throat." Arlen will not hold back much longer. Her wolf does not seem very patient either. This art is made by Kimonos Theodosiou, and it features the fall-like leaves that Ravnica is in at the moment of war, fitting in nicely with this art to light it up a little. Also look at this poise from Arlen. She seems to feel right at home in the middle of all these fights. A less calm depiction of how we have nature on our side is from Vivian. Ready to shoot her arc bow again, and the grizzly bear already taking an aggressive leap. Lius Lasaido made a nice spirit color, which is harder than you think, but also made sure to give us some fun little people fighting in the background. Vivian's bear lets you look at the top of your library for 4 mana, and then you may kind of draw it when it's a creature or a planeswalker. The creature part is because Vivian's arc bow is an artifact that is able to store the figurative spirit of creatures into it, to later release them. Vivian's spark ignited when her homeworld was destroyed by Nicol. She had been fighting for her world's nature for years, and now she has lost it all, sending her on a quest to save creature types from all of the multiverse. She has saved the monster star on Ixalan, did a bit of hunting on Kaladesh, and then took the right side on Ikoria. It's nice to know that whenever an animal might go extinct, Vivian will be there to at least save their spirit by killing them. Not all signature spells are familiars. Some are just about the skill of a walker. Johan Grenier made this art piece of Gaia comic sprinting through an eternal. Gaia's mechanical power is to revive a creature when it dies, and in the story this is portrayed by her being able to shift in and out of form. Gaia is an assassin, who supposedly works for gold. The interesting part being that she started her work to save her own plane. Then she went from job to job and ended up at the Ortsov Guild. This is where she learned the value of gold. Now she seems more and more drawn to adventure. Her flashiness still makes her easy to find for people with money, so that she will take on assassinations or even hunts of predators. Also, at the moment her knives are broken and she uses axes, which are way cooler of course. Another signature spell has us wondering, because no one knows for sure who this is yet. Sarah Winter's depiction is striking. Yeah, because the swing of her sword leaves behind white mana. Not wind, but white mana. Up to this point I haven't seen no other people who leave behind white mana. Her card suggests that she can fight well. Precise, clean cuts, no one saw anything. Again, tag the report with my code and file it. This is set by Lavinia, who is Azorius aligned, but does not only follow rules. Well, she does, but she prefers justice as an end goal for these rules. She would not soon cover something up though, making us wonder why she is covering for the Wanderer here. We can also see that the Wanderer can exile things with her blade. We also know that she prefers larger opponents, as we see from the enemies she fights here. Logical, with such an expensive exile effect. Back to spawns. Hell spawns actually, with Tybalt Rager from Yungay Joy. Tybalt's goal is to inflict pain. He can sense it in others and delights in it. Tybalt did not only kill Nicobolus's army, he also lets his devils kill the people of Innistrad, for fun. This Rager is a classic devil, in that it deals 1 damage when it dies. Many devils have this ability. This one also breathes fire, making it a lot more potent when not blocked. Judith the Scourge Diva is a Rakdos performer, who seems to have taken a liking to this devil. Why? Well, she also deals 1 damage whenever one of your creature dies. So this tormenting is a thing she is prone to as well. This must have been a fun day for her. Ryan Yee was tasked with making this iconic moment from the story, where Liliana chose to make the Dreadhorde turn against Bolas. In the cinematics we see her running up to him, which makes no sense but looks cool. We also miss the important man of the whole story. But her tattoos of binding look cool here as they fall off. The mechanic of the card says to drop 5 counters from a planeswalker, which is often exactly enough to kill Bolas's card after it is played, making for a bit of a flavor win. We do get to read that her breaking her contract means that she has to die. Nicobolas did forget about the clause where an indestructible man can take that curse for you. What sloppy work. Our planeswalker from this pack seems less important than our previous big boy. Still, her story is very interwoven with that of this war. Her whole world was just shattered by this god dragon, but being a Gruul warrior, she kept fighting back, wanting to defeat the god. You have to know that everyone wants to honor this god on her world. But then Samut learned about his real intentions, and she began as the only one believing this story. When Nico actually started attacking gods, she rallied her people in battle. Her thing is that she is very fast. This is why she gives her creatures haste, twice. There's honestly not much else from this card, apart from the fact that this Eternal must feel pretty disoriented from seeing a live human from Amonkhet jumping at him while thunder is booming from behind her. Samut's struggle was not as much a struggle, but more an intense emotion. She was thanked by her god Hazoret, and her belief made her so proud that she could spontaneously planeswalk. Now she fights her own previous friends in this war. But still nothing can stop her from fighting. A true cruel spirit. I want to make a small intermission to look at these two lands in this pack. These are very important because they give us an idea about what we are fighting on. Our island from the famous Unpacking shows us an Azorius building built on waterfalls. A seal of some sort of law is floating overhead, and we can see that here you would need flyers to get around. But the Azorius Air Force is one of the strongest, and I do not think Lazotep warriors can swim upstream very well. The dim sunlight shows us a feeling of dread, and something needs to be ending. This is the beginning or the end of something, and we can feel it from this land alone. This land does not let us know what guild it is about bombastically, but that is exactly the point. Rakdos or Orthov would have been clear, and Golgari would not have been so clean. So this street is a perfect building for the Dimir. You probably will not even be able to find the door here, unless you know where it is. But this is an expensive building nonetheless. The floating constructions betray that. This is not your classic swamp, but still a place where you will not want to end up in. Even the Dreadhorde might not find you here. And here we see a great example of why the chaos of Ravnica helps against large enemies. Rostan is a Boros commander that of course wants to enforce people not to have a giant murder robots. Apparently the Rakdos have kept this one a secret though, and now it comes in clutch. The card has menace because it is scary and makes others stronger, because of the morale it gives when this is on your side. Bouncing Links from Siddharth Chaturvedi is amazing. The card is just a cat with first strike when it has the chance to attack. Their owners say that he normally does not behave that way. But the art, as you can see, is another masterpiece from Siddharth. This art needs a lot of fall colors, and while these are not even necessarily that, the yellow from the cat is most pronounced. And as always, when we diverge our looks, we see that someone fell, and that people seem afraid. Then, and only then, do we see that the lynx is looking at us, and that we are the prey. Cats are very empathetic, believe it or not, and this one has got the anxiety of everyone around him. Apparently you were most anxious, and now you will be bounced out of it. Their passionate owners know of this. Another piece of passion is defending your hometown by sacrificing yourself. And sometimes mages have to sacrifice themselves in order to kill something like a Nicobolas. For flavor win, you could use this on Liliana or Gideon to shoot it at Bolas when it comes in. Let me know when you manage to do this. In order to understand the flavor, which says that this mage has one more piece of fuel to burn, we need to see that the name is a fire of the heart, and that the art features a mage literally on fire. This mage burns himself, to burn something else. Passion. For one of the last cards, we get to see some Firemane Angels being scared of this 2/2 flyer. Firemane Angels are often 4/3s that have first strike as well. Still, it's not the size of these that they are afraid of. It's the numbers. We can see 3 of these Avens in this art from Johan Grenier alone, enough to kill one Firemane Angel. They even come with 1 army counter to top that off. We even get to see a nervous Tajik, who is another Boros aligned tough guy. Not that I would have any chance against this sweeping huge bird with a halberd. I do want to note that it's funny to think about what would happen if a flying bird would use a weapon like this. It would just fling itself around with the force of its strings. Funnily enough, our last card is such a Firemane Angel, one that could take on just one of these agents. Pirakor as Finren Traaf is a Firemane Angel in the Boros Legion. Well, at the moment she is. But she also was not, and she used to be the Guildmaster even. Feather started as the Guildmaster. Then she vanished a few times, but all other angels were killed. This meant she wasn't illegal. So she apparently turned herself in, and then when she became a Guildmaster, Aurelia challenged her for her title, because Feather had been arrested once. Yeah, that sounds like the Boros. Feather's card is definitely a redeemer. Not only was she allowed to fly in the army again, because the Boros needed her, another unlikely reinforcement, and for once, 2 Boros leaders. She is also the first of great Boros commanders, and played rounds that do not force you to attack. A bit of a weird one, as she still likes fighting, but she is about way more. She stands for enforcing the law, but more so she is unimaginably loyal. Imagine how much shame comes with an angel being imprisoned and being freed by a goblin. Still, Feather fights for what she believes in. Her card gives you card advantage, because every card you play that targets a creature you control comes back at the next end step, enabling you to use your cantrips a lot of times. Feather is the redeemer of Boros. Her art features her angry eyes, her sun sigil on her face, her massive sword, and the sun shining between 2 of her 4 wings. In the top right we can see the Parhelion 2, and in other places you can see other angels patrolling the sky. Where the Aven might scare you, these angels give you hope. Feather must be remembered for that. War of the Spark shows us another side of Ravnica, a short one where we get to meet some of the characters way too briefly. Seeing Feather here does inspire to look further, at least for me. So look forward to that. Thank you for watching.